Viewers, before we dive in, drop your location and your local time in the comments. Always fun to see how far this story travels. Marcus Jenkins, one of the Bureau's few black agents with deep undercover chops, sits in a conference room at FBI headquarters, staring at statistics that would make your stomach turn. 17 dead in custody, hundreds of questionable arrests, harassment so common it's basically a department hobby. Director Calloway doesn't sugarcoat, "He needs someone inside Oakage PD, someone invisible to the good OL boys running their little empire." Marcus doesn't hesitate. This isn't just another job. It's personal. The transformation into Elijah Washington, a scruffy, unstable homeless veteran, is almost theatrical. He drops 20 pounds, grows a beard wild enough to host sparrows, and learns to shuffle like his joints are rusted shut. His backstory: Afghanistan service, PTSD, failed VA treatment, foreclosure is convincing enough that even his own reflection might ask for spare change. Historians still argue whether this level of immersion is bravery or masochism, but Marcus just calls it necessary. Dropped on the edge of Oakage in tattered layers, he slips into the rhythm of the streets. White neighborhoods greet police with smiles and neighborly chit-chat. Cross into the Black Eastern District, and officers morph into predators. Random stops, racial slurs, street corrections that leave no bruises the cameras can see. Marcus captures it all through hidden mics sewn into his scarf, whispering nightly reports to a receiver far away. The work is grim, but there are moments like when Shanice Taylor offers him coffee and a sandwich without flinching that remind him humanity hasn't completely evaporated. Close calls start early. A woman from a past case almost calls him Agent Jenkins in public, forcing him into a babbling rant about aliens to preserve his cover-good comedy for bystanders. Not so funny for his ribs when Officer Wilson slams him into the pavement minutes later. Yet the arrest turns into gold. In holding, he hears cops casually joke about Eastern District Specials, a code for denying rights to black detainees. It's a chilling glimpse into their playbook, the kind of fringe detail that would sound paranoid if he hadn't been there to hear it. From there, he maps the players. Chief Hansen, the silver-haired puppet master. Franklin, the evidence fixer. Wilson, the street enforcer. And Miller, the smiling report falsifier. Each week brings new documentation planted drugs, extortion, cozy meetings with white supremacists. Sleeping under overpasses, catching frostbite in his fingers, Marcus presses on. Every slur, every shove, every shredded complaint form hardens his resolve. He's deep inside the rot now, and there's no climbing out until the whole thing comes down. By the second month, Marcus can feel the walls breathing around him. Cooper's squad car passes too often. Wilson's eyes linger too long, and his name, even the fake one, gets repeated in places it shouldn't. He leans harder into his performance, arguing with fire hydrants, twitching on street corners, dropping nonsensical warnings about eagles with cameras to anyone who will listen. The fringe tidbit here? More than one passerby nods knowingly, as if they've seen those eagles too. Then the Good Shepherd Church raid surfaces in hushed hallway. Chat-Terra fabricated drug warrant aimed squarely at Shani's community group. In holding after another staged arrest, Marcus overhears Cooper and Hansen plot it like they're ordering pizza. Time it during the meeting, humiliate them, shut down their organizing. He can't warn her openly, so he plants riddles and casual muttering. Shepherds aren't safe when wolves come Friday night wearing badges, trusting someone will decode it. Meanwhile, he uncovers even uglier layers. Wilson skimming seized narcotics for resale. Franklin wiping body cam footage like he's cleaning his browser history. Hansen banking with offshore reps. The same week serious charges vanish in court. Through Andre Williams, the young lawyer poking holes in arrest records, Marcus drips clues just subtle enough to keep suspicion off himself. But suspicion has its own calendar. Cooper corners him in an alley, baton in hand, delivering a professional courtesy beating that leaves him pissing blood. Historians still argue whether this was the moment Marcus crossed from investigator to crusader. But the moral math changes when Wilson eyes Shanice across a protest, hand drifting to his gun. Marcus weighs months of work against one life. When he lunges, shouting, "FBI, get down," and knocks her out of harm's way. The homeless mass falls in front of everyone, officers, protesters, and Shanice herself. The shock freezes Wilson, but Cooper bolts for the station, likely to torch evidence. And then black SUVs, tactical teams, rotor wash whipping the street. The FBI floods Oakage like a dam just burst, scooping up Hanson mid-delete, Carpenter in a shredded paper blizzard, and Cooper at the rear exit. Marcus gets the satisfaction of cuffing Wilson himself. Reading him writes he spent a career denying others. Not everyone's caught Franklin ghosts into the wind, but a conflicted Officer Miller points the way to the evidence warehouse, earning herself a sliver of mercy. The days that follow feel like history folding in real-time Justice Department suits in every hallway. Medical teams treating protesters who still smell of tear gas. Residents wandering free after years of wrongful convictions. Marcus, finally patched up by real doctors, spends hours in a federal war room, uploading months of hidden camera footage, offshore bank records, and recordings of midnight training sessions that sound like something out of a dystopian novel. Shanice is free from isolation now, her wrists still bruised, but her voice sharper than ever in town halls. Grand jury indictments drop like Domino's 23 names, from street thugs in uniform to the mayor and judge who greased the gears. Wilson and Cooper draw the heaviest charges, murder for the suicides in custody. Hanson, Carpenter, and Thomas faced decades for conspiracy and civil rights violations. Miller, now testifying for the feds, confirms what Marcus documented: promotions and perks traded for black bodies in cells. The community packs Good Shepherd to capacity, cheering each arrest but demanding answers about why it took so long. Marcus owns the delay. It took time to build a case they couldn't wriggle out of, but each day cost people their freedom, and he knows there's no pretty way to say that. Historians still argue whether Oakage's turnaround was born from Marcus' undercover grit or from Shanice's grassroots tenacity. But most agree it was the blend that cracked the system. Together, they map out reforms, independent oversight, community-led policing, consent decrees with teeth. The Bureau offers Marcus a national role hunting corrupt departments, and he only accepts after Shanice insists on a community partnership program. Within months, they're training agents and activists side by side. 3 years later, at the dedication of Oakage's new Justice Center, Marcus scans a crowd that's half former defendants, half reformed officers. Shanice is at his side now, not just as an ally, but as his partner in every sense. In the front row, a healed and college-bound Deshawn asks if other cities can do what Oakage did. Marcus glances at Shanice before answering, voice steady. Yes, if they stand together, if they stay stubborn for truth, if they remember that justice is something you build in small, daily acts. And as the applause swells, the noise softens into a kind of heartbeat, steady, warm, almost a whisper. The harsh edges of the story fade like streetlights at dawn. You can still see Marcus, maybe sitting on the Justice Center steps, breathing easier now, the winter wind gentler than the one that greeted him years ago. Shanice laughs at something only they hear, and Deshawn heads off toward whatever future he's decided on. For a moment, Oakage is quiet, the kind of quiet that feels like possibility, and if you listen close, you might believe the air itself is saying, it's not over, but it's better. You can close your eyes here, knowing that somewhere, someone's watching, someone's documenting, and someone's ready to stand up when it matters most.